Yo, what is going on, boys? We got another podcast today with my man Breeto, who's been in the online coaching scene now for how long?
For about 6 months.
Okay, cool. And he's been fitness coaching for a while too.
Yeah, 7 years, man.
So give him a backstory for the people that don't know you. You know, how do you want them to see you?
Well, first of all, my name's Jael, and I've been coaching for the past 7 years, but I'm also known as Breeto, owner of Breeto Fitness. And I'm somebody that helps men through the ages of 25, throughout their 40s, achieve mental clarity through personal development and fitness. And the reason why I say it that way is I'm not somebody that's just going to be like, yo, work out, get jacked. It's not really just about the workout. It's about what you get and what you gain from working out. You're gaining a new perspective on life because you're changing your entire body. And if you can get in shape, someone's going to look at you and that says 1,000 words about the character that you are. You know, so I like to just help people achieve a better physique, not for the physique purpose only, but for who they are seen as.
Dope. And let me ask you too, what initially got you in the gym and then what got you into the coaching space?
Sheesh, well, I didn't choose this route. It kind of chose me. So I would say the fact that I was super insecure about my body, insecure about who I was. I had no presence when I was in the room. And, you know, I just decided to one day let go of all these little distractions that I had and decided to become my own distraction. I was like, yo, I'm over here playing GTA, focused on my level in a game more than I'm focused on leveling up in life. So, you know, I was working at Burger King, then I was flipping patties, literally making patties wrong, burgers wrong, just so I could eat them to gain muscle and grow. And also I was getting bullied too. You know, there was a bunch of different things that all led to why I decided to do what I did. But the way it chose me was because I made that transformation within a year. I went from freaking 129 pounds to 180 within a year. Everybody was telling me I was on gear. It was a crazy thing. But the thing is, like, people didn't see the hard work. They only saw the goofy kid that was playing the game all day, that was trying to just impress everyone and make everyone laugh. And that I just started working out a little bit. So I got jacked, and the manager of Planet Fitness came up to me, hey, you want to be a trainer? Bro, I was like, nah, that's crazy. So that's how I really came upon coaching. It came to me.
Dope, bro. Dope. I got a similar story, bro. I was playing video games. I was like 130, but this is at 6'3". So you can imagine, like, bro, every single bone in my body was showing. And I don't know if you had this. I've always had an obsessive personality. Anything I did, I wanted to be the best. So when I was playing Fortnite, I was like, I'm going to be the best at fucking doing solo squads or whatever the case may be. When I was in the gym too, my brothers got me in the gym and they went like, Vince, you're skinny as shit. Let's bulk up. They gave me mass gainer. They gave me creatine. They gave me pre-workout. If you're in the gym, you remember that first lift where you take pre-workout. You know what I mean? You're cracked out of your mind. You're stimulated. You're like, yo, what the fuck? And I guess ever since then, they just forced me to get into the gym. I started uploading a before and after. I used to see guys like David Lade. You've seen David Lade online? I used to see that before and after, and I was like, damn, I just want to inspire people. Like, for me, it wasn't even about making money at first. I was like, if I could inspire people to actually get in the gym, then that'd be dope. And around this time, people started asking me like, yo, Vince, what's your routine? Yo, Vince, what do you eat? Yo, Vince, what supplements you take? And I used to give it for free, but these people would just never do it. You know, it's like you give somebody something for free, they treat it like it's worthless. You charge, they pay attention. You know, so I started with low ticket PDFs, made my first 6 figures, went into coaching, now consulting, and that's pretty much that. But for you, what's your favorite part about being a coach, bro?
My favorite part would have to be the mentality shift that people get from working out. And they see themselves change, not only physically, but mentally. And I really, really try to instill the fact that it goes way beyond physicality when it comes to making progress. Because when you're making progress in the gym, you're not just doing it physically. You're looking at things way differently because of the fact that if you were to give up on something easily, but you're making progress in the gym, it's not easy to make progress in the gym. And then if you look at something else you're doing, like let's say playing a video game, you're making progress, but even though you'll take a lot of L's in the game, you'll you'll still keep trying. And a lot of people like to give up on themselves. So my favorite part is pushing people through that barrier of pushing themselves and making them realize that their life should be viewed the same way. Like your life's literally a game. But in this game, we only got one life. So it's like, you better try, because if we only got one, that's it. It's one and done. So just being able to push people and make them realize like, damn, all right, I got to keep trying. I got to push. And sometimes you need a helping hand.
Huge, bro, huge. And for me too, to explain that, I have my brothers. You know, I tried to get in the gym alone at first, bro. Not having them by my side was like, bro, I'd start, I'd give up. Community is everything as well. I see people online say like, oh, well, why would I get a coach if I could do it on YouTube? It's like, bro, you've been fat for years. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, it's not about the information itself. It's not about the workouts itself. It's about the accountability. It's about the energy as well. And that's the biggest thing about mentorship. But I mean, to add to that point, I know you were talking a little bit before this about how you help men that have depression. So for you, did you ever deal with depression? Like, explain, what would you tell the guy right now that's sitting around depressed playing video games?
So what I would tell them is, for one, if they're depressed, most times they're out of shape too. So I'll look at them and be like, bro, you're out of shape right now. You're doing X, Y, and Z that is not helping you in your situation. So you want to complain about how what you're going through right now, your life is hard and you're tired of being the way you are, but you're doing everything that is attributing to that still. So you have to put two and two together. All right, you're tired of being this way, but you're also tired of not being the man you want to be. So stop making decisions on what you want to do. Start making decisions on who you want to be. Because at the end of the day, it's like, damn, bro, you're over here doing the same things that led you to where you are. Stop doing that and start taking your life seriously. Because everybody, they want to do all these things to just cope. Everyone's living in like this, oh, I'm coping. And they won't say it because, you know, they're never going to admit to that. And a lot of men too, you got to kind of, it's harder with men now because this is the thing. Women now are becoming men and men are becoming women. Where like, it's like opposite traits are being switched and morals are being switched. So I just tell them like, at the end of the day, bro, you're feeling this way because you're too emotional. But you have to use that emotional sadness and depression and convert that into drive, turn it into anger towards you being a better man. That's it.
And I think a lot of men put things outside of their control. Like a lot of people say, oh, well, I have depression. And they look at it like it's some foreign disease. But it's like depression is an indicator. You know what I mean? Like if I'm unhappy, it doesn't define me. I go, why am I unhappy? And a lot of the time, like you said, you'll see they're not improving themselves. They're playing video games. They're not focused on chasing a bag. They're not focused on getting better. And it's like God is giving you depression as a gift to use to get you up off your ass. But what a lot of people do is they go and numb that. They go smoke weed, they go get high, they go get drunk, and they go, man, like, you know, I'm depressed, you know, let me just pass time. It's like, bro, that's the fuel that you need. It's like even anxiety in a sense. I had somebody hit me up. They were like, Vince, I'm worried, Vince, I'm stressed. What do I do? I'm like, your worry and stress is a sign that you need to be doing more. Because a lot of the time, think about it like this. If you were really busy, let's say you were waking up, grinding 12 hours a day on your business, your craft, it's like, bro, you wouldn't even have time to feel anxious. You'd just be working. You may have 20 minutes before you go to sleep or you're like, damn, am I doing enough? But that anxiety is good because it's calling you to your highest version. You know what I mean? What's a quote for that? I'll catch my train of thought in a little bit, but how have you seen people that came to you depressed? If they solved it and they were happy, did that mainly come from the gym, or what are some principles and practices you use?
Some principles I would say would be to apply consistency in all aspects of your life. If you're consistent with brushing your teeth every morning, go to the gym every day. It doesn't have to be every day. It's just, it's like one of those things, just instilling that into their brains. They're like, bro, it's just all about how you're viewing your life and what perspective you're viewing it from. Because they weren't viewing it as like, damn, it's as easy as doing this. I make sure I take a shower every day. I make sure I brush my teeth every day. I make sure I do this every day. Why can't you make sure you go in the gym for 60 minutes out of the day. We have 148 hours in the week, I think. Don't quote me on that. But how many hours out of the week would it take you? And this, let's account for travel too. All right, 2 hours. In the gym, out of the gym, travel, maybe like 3. Okay. So that is like 2% of your week, bro.
Yeah.
And then I'll break it all down. And a lot of these people also spending a lot of money on so much food. I'll tell them, bro, I spend $70 a week on groceries. I mean, that's what the market where I'm at.
Damn, dope.
But it's just, I show them the consistency part, converting that consistency with things they already do into what they need to do. Because they're not doing the things they need to do to be where they want to be in the right mental space they need to be in. And that's really it.
Yeah. I feel like the fruit of life is just improvement. Like if you could get better, if you could feel better about yourself, then you're going to perform better. You know what I mean? Like most of the time, I don't know, a lot of people, like we'll go back to the topic of depression. Bro, I'm so depressed and this and that. It's like, bro, if I lived your life, I'd probably be depressed too because you're not doing enough. You know what I mean? It's just like, it always falls back to the principle of, I feel like as men, we're put here to get better in any area. You get what I mean? And a lot of people, there's a quote that says, a man who lacks purpose distracts himself with pleasure. So it's just, if you put your value in pleasure and you don't put your value in improvement and you don't put your value in service, you're always going to feel unfulfilled. What I've found is the times that I've felt the most fulfilled, I've just served, even if it was with my words, even if it was making somebody else's life better. And that's why I love coaching. You know, people ask me like, Vince, what would you do if you had $1 billion? I'd be on the same Saturday calls that we have every single week because it's just, there's something magical about making somebody else's life better. And as humans, we're all incomplete. We're all imperfect. So it's just, religion teaches us, no matter what religion you are, that to feel complete, you need to make others feel complete. So it's just, if you just wake up and give, I feel like that's the sole purpose of what you should be doing. And to do that first, you improve. You know what I mean? So for you, obviously you have a funny personality online. I see the gym videos, you making the jokes and stuff. Like, where'd that start? Where do you feel like it started?
So, I mean, I was always a clown, like I told you, and I just never let go of those roots. Like at the end of the day, bro, life's about living and laughing and loving, right? So we're only given one life, bro. And most people, they just exist, right? I'm here to live my life. And part of living is laughing and loving. So even though like I'll be all serious with my people, I'll be this and that, I'm going to make them laugh 9 times out of 10 because that's not only what's popping right now in the media, but that's what's popping in life. Bro, like if I can have a laugh with somebody, most of the time I'm probably going to remember what we laughed about, you know? And it's just like, what helps with laughter, you'll notice, and it goes hand in hand with who I target, the men who are depressed. They're scrolling for hours laughing the whole time, all day. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, this is the key. Being able to coach people with making them laugh at the same time, getting on them seriously, using the tactics that you gave me as my mentor, and put everything together to give them the complete package of getting out of your depression, getting out of shape, and realizing you can still laugh. You can still do this. People think, oh, like you got to 100% lock in, blah, blah, blah. Bro, that's not what it is. You got to live. And that's how I go about like that concept because a lot of people get it twisted.
Bro, it's a shift in the marketplace. Like, especially, I don't know, the online coaching game, bro, I think Brandon Carter was one of the first. And then it was, I mean, it was a small crowd. Like online coaching is popping off now. But there was a time that it was all serious. And this wasn't far away. This was like 1.5 years, 2 years ago. And you're right, bro. There's a shift where people want to enjoy their lives and have fun and be able to laugh. So it's like, when you look at Instagram and social media, nobody goes to the app to fucking learn something. Nobody even goes to the app to even be motivated. They go to dopamine scroll. So it's like, if you can find a way to coach and teach in an entertaining way, then that's the money. You know what I mean? Like, I've always been a clown growing up too. In school, I used to get fucking suspended for turning people's laptops off. I'd be making the whole class laugh. My friend would be doing a presentation. I'd be making weird faces and shit. And it's just, bro, that's a superpower as well as being charismatic. You know, it's like, who do you want to work with? The guy that's fucking point A blank, you got to do this, you got to do that, or the person that can make you fucking laugh and make life fun. So, yo, I saw you do one video that stuck out, bro. You did like a video using booty bands, bro. Yo, let me ask you this, bro. As a man, do you think it's acceptable to use fucking booty bands?
Well, to be honest, bro, no, I don't think it's acceptable because I'm going to tell you right now. I mean, you're using a band that quite literally goes around your legs and your waist, so it's gripping your waist, and then you're having to move from side to side while sticking your hips back. I don't know. It's just a little bit unacceptable, I would say. But if you want to use it for other purposes, you can go right ahead. I'm not gonna judge. I'm just saying, as me, I'm not using that. I'm not doing all that as a man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, as a man too, like the sus machine is just ridiculous. You know, if I see you using the sus machine, just extending your glutes, it's like, what are we building that for? You know what I mean? It's like, why do you want to have a big gluteus maximus? You know what I mean? To impress other guys? It's like, come on. Now, but all jokes aside, what do you feel like, let's say there's a dude that's just getting started. He watches your content. Maybe he's not at the point where he can get coaching yet. Where does he start?
Well, he would start by, I mean, if he's watching my content, he could start by I do a lot of, freebies where I give people information. I'll give them a whole routine, free routine. And the thing is, I'll give those out because I know that I wish that I was the person that was receiving that when I first started, because it wasn't as many freebies as now. We have all these tools, many chat, this and that. Automatically sends somebody a routine. And we didn't have AI before. But back when I was trying to get fit, I had to learn everything on my own. But if I'm giving it to someone that's a beginner, I'll tell them straight up, yo, here's this routine. Very similar to what I did when I was trying to reach this goal at your exact spot. Then they'll be like, oh, thank you so much. So I'll give them a little bit of guidance. Then they will follow it, I would say 1 out of 10 times. Because in reality, bro, like you said, people are on Instagram to have dopamine rush, and then sometimes they'll get that 1 in a million video like mine that comes up. They're like, yo, let me actually try this out. Then they won't follow through. When they don't follow through, that's when I reach back out to them like, hey, what's up, man? Like, how's the program going that I gave you? Like, it's, the PDF or whatever. Yeah. And they didn't follow it. And that's when I'll go in and just kind of talk to them like, hey, I can let you know what I do because you've tried doing this. There's unlimited information online, but with what I gave you for a beginner, you're realizing that it's harder. It's harder to do consistently if you're just giving it for free, like you said. Yeah. So I kind of just will walk them through, kind of nurture them a little bit and let them know that I am there for them. But if I have to coach them, that's a whole nother level. We got to get on a call and I got to let them know how I can actually help them. So yeah, that's how I would go about.
Bro, that's huge. That's huge. Like I said, bro, I used to give out like free PDFs for fucking 6 months before I started doing any type of paid service. And bro, like nobody would do it. You know what I mean? And then when I charged low ticket, a higher percentage would do it. But with high ticket, it's like, bro, everybody would be doing it. And you start to realize it's like, if $50 is the difference between you dedicating your life to the gym for 8 fucking months or not, it's like, bro, it's not much of a motivating factor. Like I always say there's a commitment fee with everything in life. Like I'm somebody that spent hundreds of thousands on mentors and self-development, especially around consulting. And it's just, bro, sometimes I join people's things just to feel the sting. I'm like, God damn, I got to know this hurts so I can do it. I'll give you an example. Like even Brandon Carter, when he was first popping off, I remember I paid him and I was like a week in or so. And I was like, well, fuck, I got to make my damn money back. You know what I mean? So it's like, let me go crazy. And then by the time you do, it's like a habit. And now you're just changing people's lives, which is really what it's all about. I feel like everybody should have mentors no matter what field you're in. I don't care if you're in sales. I don't care if you're in fucking cleaning. It's like find somebody who's ahead of you that can just propel your success forward. Because I played this ego game for so long too, where I was like, man, I could do all this shit myself. I don't really need anybody, but I'd see people less qualified than me getting better results. And I'm like, they got to know something I don't. It's like, what do they know that I don't? And that's what made me join people's groups, So for you, is this your first time investing in self-development? Have you done it before? Like explain that process and how mentorship and coaching changed your life.
So no, actually, yes, it is. And I was going to say no, because this wasn't the first person you weren't the first person I looked at when it came to this field of self-development, online coaching, success. I looked at Brandon Carter.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was back in 2020. When did you get with him?
Bro, 2022, 2021, 2022. Yeah.
Okay. So COVID 2020, I saw his stuff pop up. I had just became a certified trainer. I was working at Planet Fitness, getting like $12 an hour, like 18, 19 years old. And I didn't hit the button. I was like so close. He was sending me emails like every freaking day telling me, yo, do this, do that. I mean, obviously we're automated, but it was like reminding me every day. And even to this day, I think I still get those, which is crazy. That's like 6 years later. But the fact that you ended up doing that and our stories being very similar, like, you know, I grew up with my single mom. I had my father in my life, but he passed away when I was 11. And I know I'm going kind of off of the question you asked me, but I wanted to include this.
Yeah.
So he passed away when I was 11. So I had to be really the man of the house. You know, my mom was always working hard, and I was just not really taking life serious. And then when I got into the coaching, I realized, dang, I really want a lot out of this. So then I saw Brandon Carter stuff, didn't go with it. Then I continued being a trainer, trading time for money. And I did that for basically almost 7 years. And I'm here now. And I found you. When I found you, I saw you and me. Pause. I saw me and you.
Yeah.
So I was like, yo, look at this dude. He came from a skinny, little, insecure clown. And then boom, you're Jack, you're living your dream life. And I'm like, bro, the only actual difference between me and this guy is some information right now. And I've heard you say this before, and I'm gonna quote you on this. The most expensive thing is information you don't have. That's what you said. And that goes a long way, because as a man, or as anyone in general, one of the hardest things to do is drop the ego, drop that mentality of I can do it alone, and make an investment towards that information that you don't have, so that you can speed up your progress with what you want to do, and then you'll be happy and you'll be successful, because success likes speed.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's how it went. It went from Brandon Carter, then I didn't press the button. You pressed the button, and then I pressed your button. It's crazy how it works. It was like a domino effect, but it happened for a reason.
Yeah, bro. It's funny. We actually all have similar stories, bro. You said you lost your dad at 11. I lost my dad, I think it was like 8. It's been a while now.
Oh, snap. I didn't know that.
And then Brandon Carter lost his dad when he was a kid too, or a teenager. And Grant Cardone was the first person I saw online, and he talked about how he lost his dad around 11 too. Bro, there's a blessing in a within the curse, you know, because it's like when you lose the male role model of your life, you need to think, if that person was there, bro, you'd conform to whatever they told you, like no questions asked. Like, bro, my dad told me, he's like, get good grades, go to college, become a doctor or a lawyer. When he was alive, I was like, yo, I'm gonna run the play. If he was still alive, he'd be so strict that I'd have to. I'd probably be in college right now running that same exact play. And, you know, at the time you think like, man, does God hate me? Does the world hate me? Why'd my dad pass, or this or that? But you start to realize that with every test, there's a testimony for you to tell other people. And I feel like that's what first sparks the curiosity to look for mentors. Because I know one thing that my dad always preached was like just finding people more successful. So that's when I started looking for other mentors. You know, my dad was the first person to say, you know, Vince, one day I'm gonna buy a Rolls Royce, because that's the king of cars. You know, and obviously not in a financial position to do that. But when I heard that, I followed everybody who had a Rolls Royce. It's a funny story. I saw Grant Cardone, don't buy this Rolls Royce, it's stupid. I was like, let me listen to him. I saw Brandon Carter's ad was a photo of him next to a white Rolls Royce or something. I was like, damn. And I just started following people that had results I wanted, and it just skyrocketed everything. You have to always be a student. You know, so I've been around guys that have made, bro, hundreds of millions of dollars to this day. They tell me, Vince, if I knew everything, I'd be a billionaire right now. And I'm like, damn, if they're thinking like that, it's like, you think who doesn't think like that? And it's broke people. The only people that aren't like, yo, there's information I don't have, they're so curious, is broke people. They think they know everything while having no results. And you start to understand life isn't a 2D game. Life isn't a right or wrong type of game. And as soon as you walk through life like, I know this, I know that, you can't teach a man something he thinks he already knows. You start to understand the world has certain principles where it's going to subscribe to whatever beliefs that you hold. So if you walk around thinking you know everything with beliefs that don't even serve you, it's just, you got to be careful with that. If you're saying, oh, well, making money as an online coach is hard. Oh, well, growing my social media following is hard. Oh, well, I'm not the guy that can go viral. It's like, bro, you're literally putting yourself under these chains and under these assumptions that are going to control your reality. So you start to realize, like, there's a lot of people that are very intelligent that aren't successful. The moment that they become successful is the moment that they realize intelligence is a lot deeper than right or wrong. Intelligence is just being open-minded, able to learn, able to adapt and adjust. So, bro, that's actually huge. Like, what advice would you give to somebody who lost a father figure, bro? I didn't even know that about you.
I would say, depending on what's going on at home, you lose that father figure in your life, or maybe he wasn't there, you got to be the man. Mm-hmm. And being the man is more than just being a father figure. It's being the best version of yourself. It's being disciplined and doing what you have to do no matter what. Mm-hmm. It's getting in shape. It's just being that version of yourself that you're meant to become. Because nowadays, people aren't really doing anything. People are not doing what they have to do to be a man. These men, like I said, they're falling down the wrong loophole that is kind of trading with feminine and masculine. It's like men don't have masculinity anymore. So that's what we're trying to fix. And that's what I would tell them straight up. You gotta be the man. That's it.
Yeah. And there's a million reasons to not be the man, especially without a father figure, bro. I remember when I would say like 8 years old to 16, I was so mad at the world and the universe that it had taken my father that, bro, I almost had no sense of moral compass in a way where I was like, why am I even here? Like, bro, I remember as a kid, like, bro, I was just doing all these little tricks and Cash App method. And let me see, this dude got $5 in his backpack. Let me go take that. Nobody's looking. And it's just like, bro, I don't know what it was. God almost humbled me in a sense where I had a period my whole high school hated me, right? Like, no direction, no father figure, nobody to really give me guidance or keep me in check. And bro, I remember it was that experience that humbled me. In school, I was known as the black kid who stole. You know what I mean? I went to an all-white school. I was the half black kid. I was like, yo, what the fuck? And then, bro, I remember walking to the bus stop, begging people for $1 to take the bus because I spent my dollar on fucking vending machine snack. I was like, yo, please give me $1. Please give me $1. And I'd feel like these people owed me because they came from rich families or whatever the case was. And then something just snapped at me, bro. I don't know what woke me up. I don't know who told me something. I think it was mentors online just saying like, bro, nobody's coming to save you and nobody owes you shit. So when I post these stories of people begging me for money or something, I'm like, bro, nobody owes you shit. Bro, I'm talking to the past me. And my goal is to wake that person up and let them know, like, listen, the only way you're going to live the life you want isn't by some trick, it's by service. The only way that you're going to adapt is making people's lives better. Like, that's it. Because you start to realize the universe is an extension of you. If you treat the universe like shit, bro, you're going to feel like shit. If you treat other people like shit, you're going to feel like shit. If you give other people nourishment, if you give other people words of wisdom, hope, encouragement, it's like, that's the highest blessing you can have from God, So that's what I tell everybody that they should be focused on. Bro, funny story, not to get too deep into the family stuff. I came from a very masculine family on my dad's side, my grandpa's side. Like, bro, never saw them cry once. I watched my dad watch his mom pass away. And I remember his eyes were watery, and I was like, Dad, are you crying? He was like, nah, Vince, I'm a little cold. And, bro, the first time I saw my dad cry and my grandpa cry, we're in the hospital. My dad was having strokes back and forth. And I'd always see him bounce back from every single loss. And I was like, oh, he's about to bounce back. So my grandpa comes in town to visit. I didn't know he was visiting because he probably wasn't going to bounce back, right? So we go into the room. I got my grandpa with me. I'm like, Grandpa, look, my dad's getting better. He can move now. He didn't move. All I saw was a tear drop down his face. I looked over at my grandpa. All I saw was a tear drop down his face. He pulled me into the other room and he said, listen, You need to be the man of this family. I was like, what do you mean? My dad's still alive. He hasn't even passed yet. I'm 9 years old. He's like, you need to be the man of this family, and it's up to you. And it was just like tough love, no words outside of that. And I remember watching my grandma, my grandpa, far away down the hallway, just look over and just walk out and like leave behind the hallway. And bro, like it just hit me. I was like, what the hell? Like, bro, I'm 9 years old. I can't even conceptualize or understand this. 2 days later, I went home and my mom was like, Vincent, your dad passed with a few family members. Bro, it didn't even register. It was so much pain and trauma at that time that I was like, what do you mean? I was like, my dad passed? What the hell? I went back to my room. Bro, I couldn't even process the amount of pain. It's almost like I didn't even think it was real. I didn't know what those words meant. Then I remember thinking I'm never going to see him again. And when that kicked in, bro, I remember I just, broke down into tears, crying. And it was like that for probably like a year after. Bro, I'd like drop a dish, it would crack, and I'd just start crying. And I was like, damn. And situations like that are so much pain and trauma, but they make you tough and they build your character as a man. The reason we talk about a lot of men are women and women are men nowadays is because a lot of men haven't gone through actual trauma. You know, if you've gone through trauma like losing your everything, bro, you don't care about, having ups and downs, losing some money. You know what I mean? You don't care about whether this person likes me or not. You don't care about, being cool or anything like that. It's just like, it's a humbling experience to have what you think your world is stripped from you because you start to realize nothing in this life is yours. I used to think like, oh, that's my dad. Or, if I have this, that's mine. I own this, I own that. Everything in your life is tools given to you by God to serve your purpose, even if you don't have many. A lot of guys go, well, Vince, I'm not in a penthouse. Well, Vince, I'm not here. I'm not there. I don't have this or that. It's like, first you need gratitude to be able to serve with what you have. And then once you make God pleased, he gives you more, so it's an up and down experience, but bro, it's that trauma that really builds you. What would you say to somebody that may be facing trauma, hardship, and feels stuck right now?
Well, if they're feeling stuck, if they went through a lot in their life, they have to look forward and say, we only have one life. You need to understand what it is that you're trying to accomplish in your life, which isn't easy for a lot of people. And sometimes it takes that trauma, but it takes that trauma converted into what your next step would be from that, because people will let that trauma ruin them.
True.
I did not let that trauma of me losing my father at 11 ruin me. He wasn't in my life maybe as much as yours was, but it hit me at a point where I was like, dang, like I do have to become the man. I do have to do this. I do have to do that. I was devastated for years after that. Years. Like I went into 6th grade crying, into school crying this, crying. I was crying all the time. I was a crybaby. I was raised by my mom and I had 2 sisters. I was a crybaby. But that was what made me a lot less of a crybaby. And as the years went by, I took that trauma of me losing my father. I took the trauma of me being insecure my entire life. I took the trauma of me not being who I wanted to be, me not having girlfriends, me not just being the worst version of myself and at the worst point to propel me and give me vision. Because I didn't have the proper vision. I was looking through a telescope with a cracked lens. And that cracked lens was that trauma. But all I had to do was adjust the lens. And then it cleared for me. So once it cleared for me, my life started elevating. And I'm not looking just at the moon. I'm looking at Pluto at this point. Way further in our solar system. So if something happens to anybody, they're going through any type of trauma, I'll tell them it was for a reason. And that reason was for you to excel in your life and figure out what you needed to do based off of your lowest point.
That's huge, bro. And it's about understanding too, God in the universe has mercy. You're never going to be given a challenge or a battle that you can't overcome. So I feel like you answered that perfectly, especially with perspective, because you see people with similar upbringings that will use the same trauma as an excuse. They go, oh, well, I can't be successful, bro. I didn't have my dad growing up. Oh, well, I can't be successful because I wasn't raised here or there or this or that. It's like, bro, once you start looking at these setbacks as blessings, once you start looking at the trauma as a gift too, then life starts to become a lot better. And it's like through every single traumatic event, you almost start to see it more and more where you reach a state of serenity under stress, under trauma, and you're just able to let it guide you. You've reached a real state of trust in the universe and the Most High when something bad can happen and you smile. You see the blessing in every single setback. It's just that's how you have to think. Because a lot of the time, if you learn the lesson from the setback, you're going to understand that the real fruit of life is wisdom. The real fruit of life is becoming the best version of yourself. And that's the only thing you can take with you. At the end of the day, when you die, what can you take with you? You could take the wisdom that you have, the deeds and good that you put out into the universe, then you're facing the Most High. Nothing else comes, no following count comes with that. Nothing else comes with that. So when you wake up and serve, it's like, bro, all the things are really given to you. It's like, I try to tell people now, and this is a lot different than my message before, but I used to be a very put money first type of guy. And I've kind of switched to put service first and money is going to come, because every single time that you put money first, bro, you do the wrong things. It's like I could be doing a million things to make money, but I lose myself. There's trends of people saying, oh, I got this gambling deal or this or that. That's a route you could go down. Pushing fucking packs is a route you could go down. Anything's a route that you can go down, but be able to choose the path that might not have the instant reward, but gives you the highest blessing in the long term. And that's improving yourself and improving others. And that's really what it's all about. So, I mean, yeah, bro, it's crazy to think about though. Mm-hmm. Crazy to think about. But for you, I know you said you were raised by obviously your mother and sisters, right? How important was it for you to become the man from that perspective?
From the perspective of me being the only man, it was important because I'll know that because I didn't have my dad and my mom was the dad, mm-hmm. and my other sisters were there and we had our whole family upbringing just by her. I know that with me taking this new route and what I'm doing now with online coaching, I'll be able to one day provide, do what my father couldn't do because his life got cut short. Yeah. Not to say that he wasn't able to, but that's going to give me more purpose to give back to my mom, give back. And I don't say this enough to my mom that I love her. Honestly, we weren't really loving growing up like that because of the fact that he wasn't there. So she had to work so hard. She was always tired, but I know deep down she loves me and she knows that I love her. So I have to, it just is like instilled in my brain, like, damn, I gotta get to a point where I can just give my mom 10K. Like, here you go. Not that that's life changing, but that's a step. Because at some point it'd be like 20K. The next point would be like 30. So I know that's gonna help her and kind of not even fully repay her for what she's done and how she's raised me and my sisters alone. But that is a purpose that I've gained from what I went through and what I'm able to do going forward with online coaching.
Mm-hmm. That's huge, bro. That's huge. I remember, just to give you the experience, bro. I remember when I first called my mom and I'm like, Mom, do you want to work? I was selling a 2K package at the time. It was like 3 weeks into the month and I was just going crazy, bro. Just pushing them out, calls. Like I had no time to even like sit, breathe, or think. It was just a one-man army going crazy. We were at like 70,000 within a 3-week period. And I was like, Mom, you want to work? She's like, Vince, I already have a job. I don't need another job or anything like that. I'm like, no, do you want to work? And she was like, oh, are you like offering to help out? I am working 2 jobs. And I was like, yeah, I mean, sit on it, think about it. And then she came back and she was like, oh yeah, well, Vince, I'm open to that because my mom was also the man too. You know what I mean? So it's almost like stepping into a line of feminism that you don't normally see. One thing that you'll realize is like women are naturally feminine and you see a whole different side of your mom when you're able to provide for her. You see a whole different side to your girl, your wife, when you're able to provide for her. And it's almost like they become the butterflies that they're meant to be, if that makes sense at all. You go from coarsened wings to just enjoying life. If you were to be my girl, when you meet my girl, she's like a little kid. in a sense. She wasn't like that always before, but it's just because when you wake up, you're not worried about having to go make money. You're not worried about stress of life and bills. And it's almost like, oh, I wake up, where do I want to go eat lunch? You know, it's a completely different world. And bro, that's what it's about. You know, it's like, as men, I really don't think we'll feel fulfilled doing that, but they really do get pleasure out of that and just enjoying their life. My mom travels a lot. You know, she just goes out. Vince, we went to Mexico and we're thinking about getting an RV now and this or that. So I think it's important as men too for us to put like our family first when we think about how we're posting and the message that we're putting out and how we're serving. Because for me, like, I don't care what the world thinks if I got family to take care of. You know what I mean? A lot of people are soft. They don't have that provider mentality, and they're going, well, what are other people going to think of me if I post this? The only thing you should be thinking about is, does my message serve? And will this allow me to provide for my family? Because the only way you're able to provide beyond you as a man is serving beyond you. Just serving so many people at a mass scale that it's just, you have that good juju. You know, that's what I like to put out. It's a different energy and feeling. I can't even explain this. I can't explain the love that you get when you just push out positivity into the universe, even if you do it in a joking way. You know, I tell these guys, I'm like, big dog, what do you mean you're depressed? Like, you're sitting here depressed. I know that I just healed somebody's soul, though. And they go, man, they're putting laughing emojis, but they're going, damn, this is funny, Vince, but I'm learning. You know, and just like the love of other people as well. After a certain point, when you build a brand, like attention, you start to not want attention. I wouldn't want to walk through Brickell right now because it's a little bit overwhelming to have attention, people coming up to you and this and that. What I do like is the love, though. You know, like I see these celebrities and shit like that, and people come up to them, not right now, bro, not right now. And I was like, why the fuck do that? I was like, I'd never do that in my life. But after 2 years of that, it does get a little bit overwhelming. And then you get to a point where it's just like, you want to love and serve people from afar. You get what I mean? That's the only way that I could explain it. And it's just another important thing that I've learned is, bro, like as humans, we're only as important as what we put out. You know what I mean? Not even to go on too long, but it's just the message I put out isn't Vincent Fisher. The message I put out is a universal message I was feeling at that time that I felt like I needed to tell the world. The message that I put out on our weekly calls isn't Vincent Fisher. The message I put out is I sit in the shower and I pray a little bit. I'm like, listen, God, if you're here, if you're watching, I want you to speak through me with whatever these people need. And that's what you put out. As soon as you stray away from that, as soon as you have, I don't know, idolatry or whatever they call it, as soon as you get to the point, this is me, I did this, nobody else can do this, that's when you get humbled. That's when life throws tests and battles your way. So it's always important to humbly and selflessly serve. You get what I mean? If you can do that, you're going to live the life of your wildest dreams, you know, and that's what I always tell people. So what's your goal moving forward with the brand, with coach? And I see the fucking transformations, bro. It's crazy shit.
Yeah, no, I've definitely put a lot of work into it, and I feel as though, well, not even I feel, I know as though, you know, like I am and I will, you know, I used to think maybe, what if? I don't think that way anymore. And what I'm going to do is keep doing what I'm doing, but on a higher scale, on a bigger scale, helping more people, doing a lot less on my end. And a lot of people might be like, oh, you're lazy because you want to do less. But in reality, less is more if what you're providing is at a high value. Mm-hmm. So I know what I can do for people is going to go way beyond what other people are doing. Mm-hmm. So I'll know that I can change more people's lives, give them a better product, give them life-changing qualities, change their entire life, mm-hmm. just by being me and by serving, providing, and those, I feel like that's my purpose in life, to mm-hmm. serve and to provide. Yeah. That was my purpose ever since I decided to pick up coaching, ever since it chose me, and ever since I decided to elevate that with getting with you and learning how to implement these tools that are helping me excel. Mm-hmm. So that's why I would say I see myself going, just growing and helping more and getting to a point where I can help basically millions. I mean, at this point, you're getting millions of views. Mm-hmm. So you're helping millions of people without even really knowing it, but you are. So even the people that get offended, because I say a lot of things that are, you know, a little controversial, but people at the end of the day, that's kind of just get them their attention. And if they feel some type of way about it, they're going to get the good message out of it, you know, like second-handedly. So the more people's lives that I can change through who I am and what I do for them, the merrier.
It's huge, bro. Another thing too that you'll notice, the more people you serve, the more you're favored by God, the more you're favored by the devil. So hate is something you'll deal with, especially as you get bigger and bigger and bigger. I'll tell you the best solution to hate. It's like you have to be able to love your haters. You know, Jesus says love your enemies, but if you can love your haters, you've reached the highest state of serenity. And when you don't, it's very easy to get lost in the game of back and forth. It's very easy to have negativity thrown at you and to become negative. And that gets attention too. But if you can learn to have somebody tell you, oh, when I see you, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. You need to be able to put 2 laughing emojis and keep moving. You know what I mean? It's like you need to be able to go, not because you hate them, but it's just like, big dog, you know, I love you. You know what I mean? No homo, but you get what I'm saying. It's like, big dog, you know what I mean? I want you to win too. So it's just, people aren't stupid and people can see where your heart is at. Like it's all about where's your heart at? Where's your message and where's your intention at? And that's the biggest thing in the world, you know? So, one thing you'll know too is, bro, you'll never have somebody that's really winning hating on you. I don't know about you. I've never left a hate comment on somebody's video. I've never felt the need to. Maybe when I was 16 years old or something. But the hate is love too. What did Drake say? Jealousy is just love and hate at the same time, you know? So learn to understand that's love too. Learn to use that as a message and just keep pushing and moving. Don't let it stop you from serving. That's huge as well. But yeah, how long have we been rolling for? This has been a banger.
Yeah, it's 46 minutes.
Okay, cool. Let's get some more in, bro. I want to get some. What's one thing you want the audience to know about you, your followers, because they're going to watch these that they may not even know?
All right, this is a big one. So I've been celibate for almost 2 years, bro.
Dope.
And I had to drop that out of my life because, bro, like women were like a very big distraction for me. And it's because I was a lover boy and I still am. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
Like every time I would talk to a girl, I get kind of like crazy, not like in love, but super about them. I'd want to provide for them because that was my natural inclination as a man, but I wasn't in the position to do that. Yeah. So every single time I got in a relationship, it always ended because I wasn't able to give them what I was supposed to as a man. So relationship after relationship after relationship, they all ended because I wasn't the man who I wanted to be. So I was like, you know what? A year, 5 years, all these years went by. And I finally was like, you know what? I got to drop this. It spent almost 2 years. And I started your program like a year ago, but I had other distractions too. And I didn't actually start taking it serious until like 6 months into it. So it's like a whole bunch of, I had so many distractions, man. And one of those were the woman. One of them was that I spent $40,000 on airsoft in a year. Shit. Yeah, because I was like going through some depression. I spent like my $50K on 2 cars in like 2 years. And I was looking at all these things I was excuse me. I was looking at all these things I was spending money on. And the thing was, I was spending, but I wasn't investing. So people thought, oh, this dude's definitely out here doing this. He's definitely making African beats with all these women or whatever. But that's not how it was. You know, I was just always kind of doing my thing, had my little hobbies, put so much into my hobbies, thinking I was falling in love, not getting rejected, but getting left. And I've still been, you know, happily celibate. Not gonna lie, it's been kind of tough because it's been getting thrown my way here and there. But what I want more is that lust that I used to have, I converted that lust to lust towards myself being the best version of myself. So that energy, I took that, put it to me. Look where I'm going. Look what I did for myself. Look who I'm sitting in a room with. Look, like it's just like, come on now. I'm gonna go to the top. And that's something I had to sacrifice. And a lot of guys think I'm crazy for it, but that's because they are viewing they're viewing their life through their lens. I just made a video on this the other day. I said, you know how binoculars work? There's 2 binoculars. I don't know what they're called, but there's 2 binoculars. one person is supposed to view that vision. So the minute you start listening to what someone else has to say about that vision, when they take one look at a one binocular, don't listen to them because that's not their vision. You're supposed to view both of them, and they're over here like, yeah, I don't think that's gonna work out for you. Nah, that's their view of life off of their perspectives, off of what they went through. And you need to have your own path and sacrifice what you need to sacrifice to get where you're ultimately meant to be.
Mm-hmm. Huge, bro. It's funny too. You know, I went on a semen retention journey for, I think it was like 2 years or so as well. This was either around the time I was getting into the gym or a little bit before. And bro, there's a chapter in Think and Grow Rich called The Art of Sexual Transmutation. And what it means is like your seed is your life force as a man. And when you don't release it, you can put that into your craft and have crazy ass passion and just grow. You know, so it's just like when it comes to relationships, I don't think a lot of people understand this. You can't really fake having the dream relationship that you want. You can't go looking for it or find it. God's going to give you the perfect woman that's meant for you if you get married to your craft. Okay, like, bro, religion says this: a man should follow God and a woman should follow a man and God, right? So like a lot of the time relationships end for most dudes because they stop following their path, they stop following God, and they almost start following the woman. And that's the most unattractive thing for a woman, even if she's a good girl, because she's going like, well, how can I be led if he's not leading me and following God? He's following me. You know what I mean? So that's something I fell back and forth with. I'd have these girls that I'd like think I loved and be dating and this and that and just get brutally heartbroken. And I was like, man, how's this shit always ending? But the best quote that somebody told me was, you don't fall in love, you stand in love. You marry your passion, you marry your path, you marry your service, and you stand in love. You got to be able to tell your girl like, hey, listen, you know, I love you, but not right now. I know you want to go to the movies. I know you want to do this and that. We're going to do that soon, but right now I got to serve. And that's just that. If you can do that, then you can have a healthy relationship. And it's also about understanding, even if a woman's a good woman, bro, they're designed by nature to test if they have strong leadership that they can't bend, break, or move. So as much as I love my woman, there's no amount of game in the world that I can have that won't make her wake up one day and throw some shade or disrespect. This is how women are wired. A good book on this is The Way of the Superior Man. And you start to almost love your woman for that. Oh, you're doing this, aren't you? You just laugh. Because if you sit there and start arguing, why are you disrespecting me? Why are you this? Why are you that? A girl gets more attractive if you can't be moved, and a girl gets more unattractive if she can move you. So it's almost like a woman will love you deeply if to your core you love her, but you don't need her. That's the craziest thing in the world about relationships and how they work. I die for my girl, but if she gets too disrespectful, I don't need her. And that'll break my girl's heart saying that. She'll listen to this saying that. My girl, I'm actively starting a family, you know what I mean? Getting married, having kids, all that good stuff. But if you disrespect me too much, don't think that my presence is going to be here with too much disrespect. And that's really the frame that creates a healthy relationship. And it's the same thing on the flip side. You see so many guys that are talking about, oh yeah, my girl can't have no guy friends. My girl can't follow any dudes. I hold the same standard in my relationship. I'm not going to go liking hoes posts. I'm not going to go following them or anything like that. And I'm going to hold the same standard, and it's going to be mutual, you know? So it's about understanding that God's going to give you the perfect person in your life. And on the flip side of it too, like I see some dudes, maybe you slept around a little bit, bro. You can't fucking sit here and want a virgin. You know what I mean? Like it's okay if you find that and you want that. But one thing is like, I know if I slept around a little bit, if my girl slept around a little bit, not like crazy, but it's just, okay, that's the standard. It's a reflection of me in a sense. You get what I mean? So it's just about finding that perfect person for you. I think my girl had 1 to 2 boyfriends before me. And in the beginning of our relationship, that would fuck my head up. Like, what the hell? Why was there another man before me? This, that, you know, and I used to be so toxic and all these different things. And then you grow and you mature a little bit and you go, I'm just going to be the best man in her life anyway. You know, so bro, they say in religion, you solved half of life if you have a happy relationship too. So there's a lot of growth there. There's a lot of exploring there. That's outside of just success, but I talk about the principle of getting better in every area as a man. Bro, you become a different person, bro. I don't know how to explain that. Not to get into fucking therapy or anything, but you get the point of what I'm saying. So
Definitely.
So yeah, you ever plan on having kids?
Definitely at some point. Like I want to have a kid by the time I'm 30. I'm saying it like I'm going to be the one pregnant, but
Yeah,
you know, I want to,
I know what you mean.
I want to be, I don't want to be an old dad.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want to have energy. I want to run around with my kids. I want to be there when they turn 21 and have their first drink. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be a fun dad and a very like, I want to be in my kid's life so much to the point where he just basically becomes a better version of me. That's really all I want. So in order to do that, I got to build a legacy. I got to build something that not only my family is going to remember, but generational is going to remember. Like generations down the line, yo, remember Jael? Yeah, nah, he did this, blah, blah, blah. We're living in this estate because of him. You know, something like that. That's where, that's what I'm thinking about. And that's why I'm working so hard towards that now.
Bro, I think nothing will motivate you more than having a kid, knowing you're having a kid. Nothing will drive you more. And my mom used to tell me that about my dad. You know, she used to say like, you know, I watched your father become a completely different person, but my dad was older, like you're saying. So I had my dad, Vince, I don't got much energy, man. You know, go ahead and play basketball. I'm going to be here on the sidelines watching you. So for me, too, the importance of having kids young is just, yeah, bro. Like imagine your kids seeing you at 30 and just conquering the world, energy on top of it. You know, it's like that should be the goal. And I see so many dudes, oh, you know, well, I'm not having a kid, Vince. I'm gonna go get a plan B or this or that. It's just trust God's timing. You know, I'm not bashing you if you've done that before, but it's like trust that everything's working out in your favor the way it's supposed to. But yeah, bro, that's everything as well. What's another thing you feel like your audience may not know that they should know about you?
I'd probably say I do a little bit of nightlife promotion and I DJ.
Dope.
So I do that because I have a passion for music and I love music. I would spend hours a night at the club emoting, but at least at this point, but look, at this point, at least I got a barcode on my back. You see that?
Yeah.
So like I'll be in the front and then they'll all be scanning my stuff and they'll be like, yo, what is this? I'm like, this is me. So then I'll get like, you know, I'll network and conversations. That's why I'm outside. And I like, that's another aspect that I can provide in entertainment.
Yeah.
You know, because people are going to get married. I'm doing my first wedding in July. So that's huge for me. Like I bought so much stuff that I was able to buy through my new acquired income with online coaching. And it's like, dude, now I'm at a point in my life, ever since I joined and had the mentality switches that I gained from being with you, I've been able to stop spending money and just investing money. That's it. And people don't realize how much money they spend and waste on things that are not doing good for them. And they're not spending anything on making them a better person. So yeah. DJing, nightlife promotion. And that's, I mean, other than the airsoft thing, I didn't really go down that route, but I was playing airsoft like it was Call of Duty because I was a Call of Duty YouTuber. Damn. Bro, I had a YouTube channel thinking I was going to become someone big, bro, but I didn't have good enough internet. My mom was paying for it and it was so buns, bro. Like a hotspot would work better than it. So it got to a point where it was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to do this. Let me transfer this structure I had with posting YouTube content on video games into making a fitness page. And that's how Breeto Fitness page came to be. Dope, and bro. You know, I've been here and I'm making progress ever since. So it's just funny. I know you did something a little along those lines too, right?
Bro, why has every successful online coach been a gamer, bro? Like, yo, we all started, bro. I remember like I used to fucking take the router. I'm finding cords. I'm like, I need this to go into the PS4. The Wi-Fi needs to be quicker. But yeah, bro, I'm telling you, it's something about that addictive personality that makes you succeed, bro. So yeah, bro, I had a YouTube for a little bit too, playing video games. And I was like, man, I'm going to kill it with this. I used to be shit talking people on the game too. And yeah, bro, I think that's actually good to, bro, I say, man, if you're partying, clubbing, bro, the truth is life is about balance. If you can do both, then that's good. You know what I mean? For me, I feel like the reason I haven't done much nightlife stuff is like, bro, I don't know how to explain it. Some people are wired different. So I'm wired very extreme with zero balance, where like I could sit at a laptop for 12 hours a day just coding with AI, just doing the exact same shit. And yeah, you need to find that balance though, because it gets very obsessive. I'll catch myself on a fucking 48-hour streak in the same spot that I make those same videos, fucking coding, boom, tweak this here, tweak this there. And And it's a mixture of analyzation and action when it comes to goals. But a lot of people confuse analyzation with action. A lot of people sit there and plan and go, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And they go, I got a lot done today, but you didn't get a lot done today. You got the plan done today. It's like, what are we going to get done tomorrow? You get what I mean? So that's something to watch out for too when we talk about mentality. But yeah, I feel like everything that I tell people is something that people ahead of me told me. So that thing that I told you, I remember you were telling me about the workouts and making them perfect. Bro, I had a mentor tell me that. And he was like, I asked him, I'm like, what's the biggest bottlenecks I should focus on? He's like, well, Vince, you're focusing on the wrong things. You're making this perfect when that's the biggest bottleneck. You're making that perfect when that. And it's crazy how one fucking sentence can change your life and you take that with you forever and just become a more efficient human being, So yeah, bro, it's funny. I used to do the same shit with gaming and everything like that. So that's dope, bro. That's dope. But yeah, for the people watching this, bro, where can they follow you?
Follow me at Breeto Fitness on Instagram. Sir. And if you need help with anything, specifically my men between the ages of 25, pushing their 40s, let me know. I can help you out and help you with your mentality as well.
Oh yeah, let's get it. You guys can get me to Vincent Fisher _ Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Let's run it.